Introducing you to the Bright Pattern Workforce Management Solution. If you measure, monitor, or use any of these metrics within your contact center, then the Bright Pattern Workforce Management Solution is what you require to achieve your goals. So how does workforce management achieve this? There are 5 key elements within workforce management. Starting with forecasting and scheduling, this helps you build efficient and fair schedules. You also have intraday management to help manage spikes and deviations, and adherence to manage agent activities. Finally, you have extensive reporting and analytics capability to manage key metrics. We're now going to see these features in action in a brief demonstration.
I'm going to start off with the shift overview screen here, and the shift overview is like the final piece in the jigsaw where you have configured your employees, configured your shifts and so on, and then you get to the point where you have your schedule. We've got our employees down the left hand side here. We've got our coloured bars depicting the start and end times of the shifts and the activities and so on. And we can go into that in a little bit more detail, but what I want to focus on here is the information that the shift overview screen gives you. And for that, we're going to go towards the top here. Initially, I've got my predicted service level and relative staffing difference as a percentage, so I can clearly see during the day what my expected service level is for any particular skill or queue and so on. And at the moment, I'm just looking at a single individual queue. I can also see my staffing difference, so we've got the colour coding here, obviously the pink and reddy areas being in a pretty negative or bad understaffing situation. My greys and light blues are reasonable, and then the dark blue being overstaffing. I can also see more information here by using these 3 data buttons here as well. So if we open up the first one, it then gives us the ability to see the required number of agents, the scheduled number of agents, and then the difference. And the required number of agents is coming from a forecast that would have been previously built. And within the Bright Pattern Workforce Management, we use a machine learning algorithm for our forecasting, and this gives us the ability to produce accurate forecasts. So in this example here, I've got a required number of staff, my scheduled, and then we now can see the absolute difference and also the difference as a percentage and our expected service level. So obviously during the periods of time where we're short-staffed here, we've got a low service level expectation. I'm just going to show you a couple of different views here. So we've now got a more graphical view. This is probably a more traditional view of the overs and unders. The light grey bars here are telling us how many people we actually need, and then again obviously the blues, pinks and reds and so on are then showing us where our staffing is. So I can clearly see where my pitfalls are during the day, where I might need to move some breaks and lunches around, might need to move some training around, might need to get some resources from the different areas of the business as well. And the key thing within the shift overview screen is that it's easy to administer. So if you do need to make changes, you can do. We can slide shifts around, for example, here. We can also go into the shift editor screen, make changes here. We can add different work segments, break segments, or absences, for example. We just pop this person as a full day sickness, for example, here. And then we can also see the impact of those changes. So as we make changes within our schedule, it will automatically update the staffing differences, the service levels. So what this gives us is the ability to then make educated decisions rather than guesswork. So if we are struggling or if I need to make changes, I can see the impact of my changes within the contact center before I commit to them. And then if I do want to commit to them, I'll simply publish the changes up here, and the employee will then see those changes in their agent calendar or their mobile app, and they get the great visibility into that as well. So that's the first point out of the 3 we're going to look at. The second one is intraday management, and this is one of the tools that you would use during the day to help you manage and for you to achieve your service levels. We've got to start off here with our 4 chart widgets at the top showing us our volume, average handle time, staffing and service level. And what we're seeing here is a comparison. The blue area being our forecast and the orangey browny area being our actual volume. So we're comparing what's actually happening to our forecast. The same thing for handle time, staffing, and so on. So this gives you the ability during the day to see what is taking place. When you've got higher wait times or calls queuing, this will be one of the first areas that you can kind of look at to see what is taking place. Are you receiving more calls than is expected? Do you have enough staff logged onto the phones or chats and emails and so on? So we get a nice clear indication at the top. We can then drill down in a little bit more detail into these charts into the middle section. So we've got this split between traffic, staffing, and performance metrics. So traffic may be your calls or your chats and emails and so on. And these are interactive charts, so I can look at a couple of different metrics here. You can look at them all at the same time or individually. So what we've got here is our forecasted volume in the light blue and our actual volume in the darker blue there. And we can clearly see that we've got an increase in calls here that has taken place. So therefore we've probably got calls waiting, we've probably got some unhappy customers, and we need to do something about that. And along with the intraday management screen, we also have the ability to do a reforecast. And when we do a reforecast, it's then going to take into account this data. So obviously, normally you would have done a forecast using some historical data. Well, now we can do a reforecast using today's data. And that's then going to tell us the likelihood of what's going to happen for the rest of the day now that the calls have increased, now that we're receiving more calls. And we can see here we've now got an increase in calls that kind of drops towards the back end of the day. So we're expecting, in this example, the increase to continue. And obviously subsequently, if we're going to be receiving more calls, we're going to need to get more staff and make some staffing changes in there as well. We also have a staffing graph here, so this is telling us how many people we were forecasted to have, or how many people we needed based on our forecast, how many people we had scheduled, and then more importantly, how many people we actually had on the phone or logged into the application, and then also how many people we actually needed. So when you are working during the day trying to ascertain what's going on and the impact of that, you can use these metrics to help guide the way. And then lastly, on our performance metrics, we can measure and monitor service levels and speed of answers and abandon rates as well. Just very quickly at the bottom here, we then have all of that data represented in a table format as well. So if you wanted to see the clear numbers, then you can see that as well. The final piece that we're going to look at here is real-time adherence. So adherence is kind of comparing what somebody is scheduled to do compared to what they're actually doing at every given point in time during the day. And what's unique about our adherence screen is, one, it's very clean and easy to view. Two, you have the ability to see data and KPI metrics that we got in the top here at the same time as seeing the live data update as we're monitoring. So within the widgets at the top here, I can see today's adherence performance, what it was yesterday, what it is week to date, and what it is month to date as well. So I don't have to go running reports to see what adherence is like. I can simply go into my real-time adherence screen. I can even select historical days and see what the performance was yesterday without having to go into the reports. And then in the bottom section here, we've got the employees, we've got their adherence score so far today, how long they've been out of adherence for, what their scheduled activity is, and then also what their actual activity is as well. And then that data is continually updated. And one of the great things about having a workforce management solution and your CCAS, your ACD under the same platform is that you don't have any data lag. So as this is updating in real time on the Bright Pattern ACD, it's also updating here as well. We're going to take a little bit of a look at Sarah here as well and look into a little bit more detail. And we can see here that Sarah's adherence is pretty poor, it's only 20%. And we can also see that she's been out of adherence for this big chunk during the morning part of the day there. So I'm actually going to excuse this, and we're going to say that she was in training here. Let's put the training in. And once we've done that, that'll then change Sarah's score. So Sarah's now, we're up to the top here, Sarah's now jumped up to 93% because I've excused adherence. That was a legitimate reason why she was out of adherence. And it's key when you're managing adherence that it doesn't become too micromanagement style. You need to be able to easily view your adherence performance, both from a a group teams perspective, and if I hover over Sarah here, you'll see Sarah's performance as well. So I can see individuals' performance in a similar way to the widgets at the top, but I can also make administrative changes. I can put excuses in, or I might actually want to go into the shift editor screen and make changes within the shift editor screen itself, add in breaks and lunches, or change things around and make changes from there as well. So this is just a very quick overview of the application, some of the core elements within the Bright Pattern Workforce Management. Thank you for your time today, and if you have any questions, please just speak out to the presenters. Thank you.
The Bright Pattern Workforce Management WFM solution leverages leading-edge technology with a feature-rich, intuitive user interface that helps organizations optimize their workforce and achieve their contact center goals.